First contact in the void. The quantum engines of the ESS Horizon hummed at a frequency that Commander Isabella Torres had grown to find comforting over the past 3 years. Standing at the observation deck, she watched the swirling colors of deep space through the reinforced viewport, her reflection ghostly against the backdrop of stars. The Horizon was humanity's most advanced deep space vessel, built for the explicit purpose of finding other civilizations among the stars. After 15 failed expeditions, the weight of Earth's hopes rested heavily on her shoulders. "Commander," Lieutenant Raj Patel's voice came through the ship's comm system, breaking her contemplation. "We're detecting unusual energy signatures from the Andromeda arm. Nothing like we've seen before." Isabella straightened her uniform, dark eyes narrowing with focus. "Plotted on the main display. I'm heading to the bridge." The corridors of the Horizon were alive with activity as she made her way forward. The crew of 200 had been handpicked from Earth's finest, each chosen not just for their expertise but for their ability to handle the psychological strain of deep space exploration. They had been searching for signs of advanced civilization for so long that many had begun to lose hope. The bridge doors slid open with a soft hiss. Dr. Nikolai Volkov, their lead xenophysicist, was already hunched over the sensor displays, his silver hair catching the blue light of the holographic readouts. "Commander, these readings, they defy our current understanding of physics." Isabella joined him at the console, studying the complex wave patterns that danced across the screen. The energy signature pulsed with a regularity that couldn't be natural, forming intricate patterns that seemed to fold in on themselves in impossible ways. Could it be a natural phenomenon, she asked, though she already suspected the answer. Nikolai shook his head. "No natural process we know of could create such precise patterns. This is artificial, Commander." "And the scale?" He manipulated the display, showing the full scope of the energy field. It spanned several light years. The bridge fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity had never encountered anything close to this scale of engineering. Their greatest achievements, the Mars colonies, the Europa research station, even the quantum drive that powered their ship, seemed like primitive toys in comparison. "How far?" Isabella asked. 3 weeks at maximum safe speed, Lieutenant Patel responded from the helm. Isabella took a deep breath, considering their options. Their mission parameters were clear: investigate any signs of advanced civilization. But something of this scale, it could be beyond their ability to handle safely. "Dr. Harrison," she called to their chief of security, full defensive analysis. "I want to know if those energy patterns pose any threat to the ship." Jane Harrison, a former quantum security specialist from Luna Base, was already running simulations. "The patterns aren't weapon signatures, at least not like anything in our database. But there's something else." She frowned at her displays. "The energy field, it's changing. Almost like it's responding to our scans." Isabella felt a chill run down her spine. "Responding how?" "It's simplifying. The patterns are becoming less complex, more readable." Dr. Volkov's voice held a note of wonder. "It's as if whatever's generating them is trying to communicate." The main screen filled with a cascade of geometric patterns, each more orderly than the last. What had started as chaos was transforming into something their computers could begin to analyze. "All stations, full recording," Isabella ordered. "I want every second of this documented. Dr. Volkov, work with the AI team. See if you can find any mathematical constants, anything that could serve as a basis for communication." The next 12 hours were a blur of activity. The patterns continued to evolve, becoming increasingly structured. The ship's quantum AI began detecting familiar sequences, prime numbers, atomic structures, basic physical constants. It was like watching a universal language being built in real time. "Commander," Dr. Volkov called out, his voice trembling with excitement. "We're receiving coordinates. They're being encoded into the patterns themselves." Isabella studied the translated data. The coordinates pointed to a location deeper in the Andromeda arm, near the source of the energy patterns. Could it be an invitation? Or a trap? Jane Harrison pointed out, ever cautious. Isabella nodded, acknowledging the concern. Plot a course, but keep us at safe distance. We'll approach slowly, running full sensor sweeps the entire way. The moment anything looks threatening, we pull back. As the horizon altered course, Isabella returned to the observation deck. The vast expanse of space seemed different now, charged with possibility. Humanity had dreamed of this moment for centuries, first contact with an advanced civilization. But in all their speculation, no one had imagined it quite like this. The next 3 weeks were filled with intense preparation. The crew trained for every conceivable scenario, from peaceful contact to emergency evacuation. The ship's scientists worked around the clock, studying the evolving patterns that continued to stream in. Each new transmission brought greater understanding, but also deeper mysteries. When they finally reached the coordinates, what they found exceeded their wildest expectations. A massive structure hung in space, its surface a shifting maze of geometric patterns that mirrored the energy signatures they'd been following. It was roughly spherical, but its surface seemed to flow like liquid metal, never keeping the same shape for more than a few moments. Energy readings are off the scale, Nikolai reported, his instruments struggling to process the data. The structure appears to be composed of some form of programmable matter. It's reconfiguring itself constantly, but in patterns that match our approach vector. It's watching us, Isabella realized. Learning about us, just as we're trying to learn about it. As they watched, a section of the structure began to transform, creating what appeared to be an opening sized perfectly for the horizon. The invitation was unmistakable, but the decision to accept it would change the course of human history forever. Isabella looked at her crew, seeing the same mix of fear and excitement that she felt reflected in their eyes. They had come seeking evidence of advanced civilization, and now they faced something far beyond their expectations. Whatever lay beyond that opening would redefine humanity's place in the universe. Take us in, she ordered, her voice steady despite the gravity of the moment. Slow approach, continuous scans. Let's make history. The horizon moved forward, its quantum engines humming at their lowest power, as it prepared to make humanity's first direct contact with an alien civilization. As they crossed the threshold, Isabella couldn't shake the feeling that they weren't just entering an alien structure, they were stepping into humanity's next chapter. The archives of eternity. The horizon drifted through the opening in the alien structure, its hull bathed in shifting patterns of iridescent light. As they penetrated deeper into the construct, the regular laws of physics seemed to bend. Gravity shifted subtly, and light moved in ways that defied conventional understanding. Spatial readings are unusual, Lieutenant Patel reported from his station, fingers dancing across the holographic controls. It's bigger on the inside than our external scans suggested. Much bigger. Commander Torres watched as the massive chamber around them continued to unfold. The interior space stretched for what seemed like kilometers in every direction, filled with crystalline structures that pulsed with internal light. Each structure appeared to be a self-contained unit, connected to others by threads of pure energy. These readings are incredible, Dr. Volkov said, his voice barely above a whisper. Each of these structures contains enough computational power to run 1,000 Earth-sized civilizations. This isn't just a building, it's a repository of some kind. The ship's AI suddenly flashed a warning. Detecting an energy surge, Jane Harrison announced, hands moving to defensive controls. Something's scanning us, wait, no. Something's trying to interface with our systems. Before anyone could react, every screen on the bridge transformed. Complex symbols cascaded across the displays, shifting and changing faster than human eyes could follow. The ship's quantum AI worked frantically to process the incoming data. It's not an attack, Dr. Volkov said, studying the patterns. These are language packets, translation matrices. The structure is teaching our systems how to communicate with it. Isabella made a quick decision. Allow the interface, but maintain our firewalls. Let's see what it wants to tell us. The stream of data continued for several minutes before resolving into clear English text across the main screen. Welcome, children of Earth. You have found the great archive. A murmur ran through the bridge crew. After centuries of searching for alien life, they were having their first conversation with one, or at least, with its automated systems. I am the interface, the text continued. I serve as translator and guide for those who seek knowledge within these halls. The archive contains the accumulated wisdom of 10,000 civilizations that have risen and fallen across our galaxy and beyond. Isabella stepped forward. I am Commander Isabella Torres of the Earth-ship Horizon. We come seeking peaceful contact and the exchange of knowledge. The response came immediately. Your quest is acknowledged, Commander. But I must warn you, the knowledge contained here is not without price or danger. Many civilizations have been destroyed by learning too much, too quickly. Dr. Volkov couldn't contain his excitement. 10,000 civilizations, the scientific knowledge alone would be beyond our comprehension. And potentially beyond our ability to handle responsibly, Jane Harrison added, ever cautious. The interface seemed to respond to their discussion. Wisdom. Your security officer shows wisdom. The archive can only be accessed by those who demonstrate both the capability to understand and the wisdom to use knowledge appropriately. Suddenly, the crystalline structures around them began to shift and move. A pathway formed, leading away from the ship toward what appeared to be a central chamber. You are invited to send a small team to begin the evaluation process, the interface explained. But be warned, once begun, the process cannot be halted without consequences. Choose your representatives carefully. Isabella gathered her senior staff in the conference room. The decision of who would go and who would stay with the ship wasn't easy. After hours of discussion, they settled on a team, Isabella herself, Dr. Volkov for his scientific expertise, Jane Harrison for security, and Lieutenant Patel to maintain communications with the ship. As they prepared in the airlock, donning their advanced exploration suits, Isabella addressed her team. Remember, we're making history here. But more importantly, we're making decisions that could affect the future of our entire species. Stay alert, stay cautious, and stay together. The team stepped out onto a surface that seemed to shift between solid and liquid states beneath their feet. As they walked, their path lit up with soft blue light, guiding them toward the central chamber. The vast space around them hummed with barely contained power. The energy readings are unlike anything in our database, Volkov reported, scanning constantly. It's as if the entire structure exists partially in higher dimensions. As they approached the central chamber, the interface's words appeared in their helmet displays. What you are about to see has driven some to madness. The weight of history, the depth of knowledge, it can overwhelm those unprepared for its magnitude. Are you certain you wish to proceed? Isabella looked at her team, seeing determination in their eyes. We're ready, she responded. The chamber opened before them, revealing a vast spherical space filled with floating holographic displays. Each display showed images from different civilizations, some humanoid, others completely alien. The history of the galaxy played out around them in a dizzying array of light and information. Before you can access the archive's knowledge, the interface announced, you must prove yourselves worthy. Each of you will be tested in your area of expertise. But more importantly, you will be tested on your ability to handle power responsibly. The displays shifted, focusing on Earth's history. They showed humanity's achievements and failures, their wars and their moments of transcendent cooperation. Your species is young, the interface continued, but you show promise. The question remains, are you ready for what the archive contains? As if in response, one of the nearby crystalline structures transformed, creating what appeared to be individual testing chambers. Each was tailored to one of the team members, designed to challenge them in unique ways. The trials begin now, the interface announced. Remember, knowledge without wisdom leads to destruction. Choose carefully what you wish to learn. Isabella felt the weight of the moment pressing down on her. They had come seeking evidence of alien life, but instead, they had found something far more significant, a repository of universal knowledge that could either elevate humanity to unprecedented heights or lead to their destruction. The next few hours would determine not just their fate, but potentially the fate of their entire species. Legacy of the Starborn. The central chamber of the archive hummed with potential as Commander Isabella Torres and her team debated their choice. The Guardian's constellation-like form watched silently, its light patterns shifting in subtle ways that seemed to reflect the gravity of the moment. Social harmonics, Dr. Volkov argued, his voice passionate. Think about it. Advanced technology without social progress has been the downfall of countless civilizations. We need to learn how to work together before we gain more power. Lieutenant Patel shook his head. Energy technology could solve our environmental crisis, eliminate resource wars, and fuel our expansion to the stars. It's the foundation everything else builds upon. Jane Harrison remained silent, her security training leading her to analyze each option from multiple angles. Finally, she spoke. What if we're asking the wrong question? Guardian, you've shown us the fall of many civilizations. What was the common factor in those that survived and thrived? The Guardian's form brightened slightly, its voice resonating with what might have been approval. An insightful question. The successful civilizations understood that all knowledge is interconnected. They learned to balance progress with wisdom. Suddenly, the chamber filled with new holographic displays, showing the evolution of various alien species. Some achieved technological marvels but destroyed themselves through conflict. Others developed more slowly but created lasting civilizations that spanned millennia. There is something we haven't shown you yet, the Guardian announced. The true purpose of this facility extends beyond mere knowledge storage. Watch. The space around them transformed, revealing a vast network of similar archives scattered throughout the galaxy, all connected by threads of energy that transcended normal spacetime. We are not simply preserving knowledge, the Guardian explained. We are preparing for what comes next. Images filled the chamber, showing a future where the boundaries between organic and artificial life blurred, where consciousness itself evolved into new forms. The greatest civilizations understood that technology, biology, and consciousness are all parts of the same whole. They learned to evolve not just their tools, but their very being. Isabella felt a chill run down her spine as she began to understand. The archive isn't just a library. It's an evolutionary pathway. Correct, the Guardian confirmed. The knowledge we offer is not meant to be simply received and used. It is meant to be integrated, to become part of your species' natural development. The choice before you is not just what knowledge to take, but what your species will become. New displays appeared, showing potential futures for humanity. In one, they became masters of physical technology but remained spiritually stagnant. In another, they achieved great spiritual wisdom but lacked the tools to survive cosmic challenges. And in others, they found different balances between the two extremes. We have watched your kind, the Guardian continued. You possess something rare, the ability to hold opposing ideas in balance. You can be both rational and emotional, both scientific and spiritual. This duality gives you unique potential. Dr. Volkov stepped forward, his eyes wide with realization. The tests weren't about proving our worth. They were about showing us our own nature. Indeed, the Guardian's form pulsed with approval. And now we offer you a greater choice than mere knowledge. We offer you partnership. The chamber shifted again, revealing a truth that left them breathless. The archive wasn't just preserving the past, it was actively guiding the evolution of countless species across the galaxy, helping them rise to face a coming challenge that would require all sentient life to work together. There is a darkness coming, the Guardian revealed, showing them images of an entropy wave approaching from the galaxy's edge. In 50,000 years, this galaxy will face a test that no single species can survive alone. We are preparing all viable civilizations to face it together. Isabella looked at her team, seeing the same mix of awe and determination in their eyes that she felt. So the real choice isn't what knowledge to take. It's whether humanity is ready to join something greater than ourselves. Exactly, the Guardian confirmed. We offer you not just knowledge, but a role in the greatest project in galactic history, the preparation for survival against cosmic entropy itself. The implications were staggering. This wasn't just about advancing human civilization, it was about joining a galactic community with a purpose that spanned millions of years. The knowledge they would receive wouldn't just be technological specifications or scientific principles, but a roadmap for human evolution itself. If we accept, Jane asked, her practical mind focusing on specifics, what exactly would it mean for Earth? The Guardian created a detailed projection of Earth's potential future. Your species would receive knowledge gradually, in a way that allows natural development. We would establish a permanent connection to the archive, allowing controlled access to information as your civilization proves ready for each new level. You would become part of the Galactic Preparation Project, with responsibilities to help guide other emerging civilizations when they reach this stage. Isabella felt the weight of this moment pressing down on her. They had come seeking evidence of alien life but found themselves standing at the threshold of humanity's next great leap forward. The decision they made here wouldn't just affect their generation, but would echo through human history for thousands of years to come. Inheritance. Commander Isabella Torres stood with her team before the Guardian's shimmering form, the weight of humanity's future resting on their shoulders. The vast chamber of the archive pulsed with potential, its crystalline structures reflecting the gravity of the moment. Before you decide, the Guardian said, its constellation-like form shifting, you should understand what acceptance truly means. Show them. The chamber transformed around them, and suddenly they were witnessing scenes from across the galaxy. They saw civilizations working in harmony, sharing knowledge and resources. Species that would normally be incompatible learning to cooperate, guided by the archive's wisdom. But they also saw the price of this cooperation, civilizations having to abandon old prejudices, give up harmful technologies, and sometimes make painful sacrifices for the greater good. The path we offer is not easy, the Guardian continued. Some on your world will resist the changes required. Others will try to misuse the knowledge for personal gain. You must be prepared for these challenges. Dr. Volkov stepped forward. But we wouldn't be alone in facing them, would we? The archive would guide us. We would provide guidance, yes. But the choices must be your own. That is the only way to true evolution. Lieutenant Patel had been quiet, processing everything they'd seen. The communication networks I saw in my trial, they weren't just tests, were they? They're real connections between participating civilizations. Correct. The galactic community awaits. But membership requires responsibility. Jane Harrison, ever practical, raised the security concerns. What about civilizations that choose to reject this offer? Or those who accept but later betray the trust? The Guardian's form darkened slightly. They are left to develop on their own, monitored but not interfered with. Unless they develop in ways that threaten the greater community. Then, containment becomes necessary. Isabella felt a chill at the implications, but she understood the necessity. With power came responsibility, and some choices couldn't be unmade. There's something else you should know, the Guardian added. The entropy wave we showed you, it's not the only threat. The universe is filled with challenges that require cooperation to survive. Some civilizations chose isolation, thinking they could face these challenges alone. None of them exist now. The chamber filled with new images, dead worlds, collapsed civilizations, entire species that had vanished because they couldn't adapt or wouldn't cooperate. The message was clear, evolution wasn't just about survival of the fittest, but about the ability to work together. Isabella gathered her team in a close circle. They had been chosen for this mission not just for their skills, but for their ability to make difficult decisions. Now they faced the most important decision in human history. "We need to be certain," she said to her team. "Whatever we decide here will affect Earth forever. Are we ready for that responsibility?" Dr. Volkov spoke first. "The scientific advancement alone would be worth it, but this is more. This is about humanity growing up, joining something greater than ourselves. The security implications are enormous," Jane added. "But having allies against cosmic threats, that's not something we can ignore. And the cultural exchange would transform our society," Raj said. "We'd never be alone in the universe again." Isabella turned back to the Guardian. "If we accept, how do we begin? How do we prepare Earth for such massive changes?" The Guardian's form brightened. "You have already begun. Your questions show wisdom. Your concerns show responsibility. Your hope shows potential." The chamber shifted again, revealing a small crystalline object floating between them. "This is a seed of knowledge. It contains the initial protocols for establishing a permanent connection between Earth and the archive. Through it, we can begin the gradual process of integration." Isabella reached out and took the crystal. It felt warm in her hand, pulsing with its own inner light. "And Earth's governments? How do we convince them? The seed will provide proof they cannot deny. But more importantly, it will show them the same truth we have shown you, that humanity's future depends on learning to work together, not just with each other, but with all sentient life." The crystal began to glow brighter, interfacing with their ship's systems through Isabella's suit. The Horizon's quantum AI registered the connection, accepting the first streams of data from the archive. "Commander Torres," the ship's AI announced, "I'm receiving new physics equations, medical knowledge, technological specifications. The data is extraordinary, but it's being provided in a structured, comprehensible way." Isabella looked at her team, seeing their nods of agreement, then turned back to the Guardian. "We accept your offer. We accept the responsibility, the challenges, and the opportunity to help humanity evolve into something greater." The Guardian's form expanded, filling the chamber with light. "Then let it be recorded. Earth joins the community of awakened civilizations. The path before you will not be easy, but you will not walk it alone." As they prepared to return to their ship, Isabella clutched the seed of knowledge, feeling its warmth. They had come seeking evidence of alien life but found something far more precious, a future where humanity could become more than they had ever dreamed possible. The Horizon's journey home would mark the beginning of a new era for Earth. They carried with them not just proof of alien life, but an invitation to join a galactic community and a roadmap for humanity's evolution. The real challenge would begin when they returned home, helping humanity take its first steps toward a destiny among the stars. As they walked back to their ship, Isabella looked one last time at the vast archive chamber. "We'll make you proud," she promised, both to the Guardian and to future generations who would inherit the path they had chosen. The Guardian's response echoed in their minds as they departed, "You already have. Now go, help your people reach for the stars, and remember, you are not alone in this journey. The greatest adventures of humanity are just beginning."